far. Where do you see the market going, like between now and the end of this year? Do you see prices kind of still heading up because of our inventory situation, or do you see things leveling off or coming down a bit?
It'll come down. I'm gonna just kind of guess 3% until August, maybe 4,
Oh yeah.
and then it'll go up 5% in September, October. They'll come back down in November, but the ending price in December will be less than what it is right now, which is
Boom.
just seasonal norms. That's it.
S-
Like
Yeah.
everyone just tries to like predict what's going to go, but like if you take out the last 2 years and you just look at the average on like the change month over month, that's just what it is. The only anomalies are pandemic, 2017 craziness from like the like actual forward money, and then you have the stress test. When you take those things out and you've been in the market long enough since like that decade, it's normal.
But
25, 30 year, like 1990, like 3. It's literally showing the same thing every year. Yeah.
But you
Yeah, it's
don't
just the
you
same
don't think
thing.
enough things changed in the world that affected the real estate market that may have had a different effect than normal? Like you don't think all this work from home stuff has had a significant enough effect on real estate? I mean, mixed with all the stuff you just said. I mean, look at what values did. You know, I was up in Eagle Lake last weekend. You know where Eagle Lake is?
No, it sounds fancy though.
It was not fancy by any means. It was last
Uh,
second, and we had to get away after our whole flooring fiasco that lasted for well over a month. Anyways, so we're up at Eagle Lake and we're talking to this guy. He's giving us a boat tour, and he's like, the prices in Eagle Lake, they're not much money. Like maybe you buy a house for 2 something, 3 something. They're like cottages, you know. These
is
are
this
not
Northern
like,
Ontario?
yeah, it's
Okay,
maybe 2 hours, 2.5 hours north of here,
okay.
north of Halliburton. But anyway, so he's like, everybody's got to move out because nobody can afford to live here anymore because all the people from, Toronto or other places are coming here because it's super cheap. And I was like, oh no, like this is happening everywhere. Like everybody's getting squeezed and getting pushed away. And I mean, maybe this isn't bad though, right? Like I know people don't want to not live where they wanted to live, but maybe like spreading things out. I mean, it's a pretty big fucking country. It's a pretty big bloody province, for God's sakes. Like there's room for these people if we spread out a little bit. We don't all have to live in cheap condos.
Well, I think there's merit for if you can work from home, but I think the scare is how long you can work from home for, right?
Hmm.
And like, is this phenomenon going to be forever? Like, I have no idea. I'm not studying any of this, right? The way I look at the ability for people to work from home and move further for more space, it just allows you to basically, thrive till you qualify, right? So these places that are further away become more expensive because Toronto money is coming. But if you really just look at kind of like why prices are going up, like I always circle back to this, it's just there's more money in the system. Like even before we had all this like inflation talk, I was always talking to like my clients. It's like the value of your home isn't going up. It's just the value of your dollar has been going down,
Mhm.
right? Like the dollar you have is worth less. Like I always joke, like when I moved to like York region, I used to go to a Chinese grocery store and I buy a pack of basil and it's like 99 cents. If you guys ever go to a grocery store, it's like wrapped in saran wrap so you can't see the back. So you know like the uglier side of the vegetables are on the back, but like the pretty side is in the front. So that was 99 cents. I just picked some up last week and it's like $4 now. So I don't think like house prices are going up. They're just the dollar is getting worse less. That's all I see it. And when you, and Daryl, you'll know this because you're a developer, your material, your raw material isn't getting any cheaper. You can't sell it for less. So your replacement cost is actually higher than your existing cost. There's no way it's going to get cheaper. It just doesn't make any sense unless we have some massive deflationary kind of effect. And the government knows they can't have deflation. They're more afraid of deflation than they are inflation because deflation means that their money will never be paid back. They're actually needing inflation to make their money work less to pay it back in future terms. So when you mix in whole red tape, government bureaucracy, and all this other jazz I just talked about, and what we talked about like 10, 20 minutes earlier, I just can't see prices coming down. And then you sprinkle in a little immigration dust on it, boom, super permeable, right?
Yeah.
Like we're gonna have short-term volatility, but like all of this sense, all the stuff I just said makes sense why prices go up. I don't think it's just a Toronto phenomenon. If you look at other large cities that are in demand and like it's been pumped up like Toronto has, it's bound to happen, right? That's just how I see it.
Mhm. What you said
Yeah.
there too proves that these inflation numbers they're giving us are nowhere near accurate, right?
No,
No.
Because if we're running out of like a 4.5 CPI or something like that, I mean, nothing has gone up 4.5%. at the end of the day, year over year, right? Like
Except
everything
for
is
real estate.
everything. Well, I mean, real estate's trending higher, right? If we look
Yeah.
at over the last 10 years, right?
It's like 7 or 8%, something like that.
Right. Yeah. So we're all the things that, so whether it's the real estate's appreciating, the value of our dollars are going down, it's all relative. It's like, what can I buy? That's the true measure of inflation. What can I buy with my money? And what do people want to buy? They want to buy food. They want to buy real estate. They need to buy clothes. They need to buy fuel. This is the whole point of the CPI basket, right? So it just goes to show you that CPI, even though they've adjusted it 17,000 times since 2020, they are underestimating what inflation truly is, and that the value of your dollar is way less than you think it is, and you trying to go pay more money for real estate and for housing has nothing to do with anything other than that's what it costs now. So just to prove Zen's point here is we're never going back down to the prices that we had from,
No, you
let's say,
can't.
You can't. Doesn't make
20,
sense.
2019.
Like, comment, and subscribe if you got anything from one of these clips. And if you want to see some more, press something on the screen here. Boom.
That was good.
That was good. I like that. That was good.